Okay, so we are discussing about the generalized solution. Now think about it. Let's suppose what I am giving you a very simple example. What exactly the meaning of the generalized solution? Okay, for this point of time, there are n number of people who join with us. The today's topic is if. Okay, in the last class I give the examples, I give the assignment regarding the if, and it's very simple. If you are from the from the technical background, if you are from the engineering background, you easily understand what exactly the meaning of the if. And after covering this if, we will directly move to the for loop. That is the important one, and I will give the assignments for the same for the for loop. You will get 4 to 5 assignment for today with the that you have to solve with this for loop. Okay, so I will solve 2 to 3 problems with this if condition. I will teach this if for today, this particular session. My majorly focus on this if, and after that I will move to this for. Okay, thanks for joining everyone. Without wasting your time, without giving any kind of introduction, I will discuss that thing after completion of this session, because you are with the fresh mind, and definitely it's my motto to teach you something. If you join this session, definitely you will learn 3 to 4 program today. Thank you for joining everyone. Okay, now if I discuss this if, okay, that I already discussed in the great detail. And the second problem, the people are facing the problem of the indentation. That is the important one. I will touch again this point today, indentation, how you can manage the indentation, because this is the important one in the context of the programming. Okay, now I was discussing about the generalized solution. Okay, generalized solution, that is the important one, because normally what I face, the students think, okay, if I give you assignment something like this, x is equal to 10. Okay, I give you assignment x is equal to 10, and what you have to do, you are supposed to add x and y. Very simple assignment, okay. Now just imagine it, user give 10, okay, and user give 20. It will perfectly work for 10 and 20. Now what will happen? If user enters -10, okay, if user enter -20. Now my condition is that I have to stop use. It's not working. You are not able to see anything. Okay. So Mohammed sir, let me but here is showing that everything is presenting. Now please check. Now it's showing something. Mohammed, just now it's okay. Perfect. Now it's, I think, visible to everyone. Okay. So back to this point, the main concept is the generalized solution. So always think about the generalized solution. For what exactly meaning of the generalized? The generalized mean that what exactly mean of this? That you have to think 2 step beyond user. Okay, 2 step beyond user. User can be something like this. Okay, you are asking for age. Okay, you are asking for age, and something like me. Okay, I entered the age that is -1. And this is not a valid age. Okay, if you not handle such kind of criteria, then what will happen? Your logic will take these values, and it will implement the same thing, implement the same logic over this value that is not valid value. So while designing any algorithm or while solving any problem, you are supposed to take care about all these things. This is the important one into the industry. If you want to really work on the real-time scenarios, you have to take care about all these things. Okay, now it's the same example. Just imagine the example to calculate the percentage. Now what will happen? Let's suppose by mistake for marks 1 I enter 1000 marks. Okay, for marks 2 I enter 10 marks. Okay, for marks 3 I enter, let's suppose, 4 marks. Now what will happen? These are the valid values. Now what will happen? Your program will execute these values, but this is not a valid input for this point of context, because if you enter 10, now what will happen? 10 plus 4 plus 1000. Okay, 10 plus 4 plus 1000, it will say 1014. Okay, now it will do the calculation according to this value. Okay, according to this value, and But here what exactly scenario is, the person is fail into these 2 marks. Okay, person is fail into these 2 subjects, but it will calculate the percentage according to this criteria, and might be your percentage would be 90%. Okay, 90% or more than 90%. So how we can handle this type of scenarios? Here this is not a valid. So what you can do, you can put a clause over here. You can put a clause over here. What clause that you have to take care? If value is greater than 1, okay, if value is greater than 1 and value is less than 100, then you are supposed to process this. Then you are supposed to process this value. Otherwise, in front of user, you have to give the message, this is not a valid value. That's mean you have to take care this kind of scenarios, and this type of programming is called generalized solution. This is the one example. Now take second example. Just imagine the scenario. Okay, I give you one problem statement. Now just imagine it, encrypted and decrypted. Okay, I give you one problem statement. I give you one algorithm. I give you a task. You are supposed to design one algorithm. What will do? Okay, it will take value something like this, A253. When you send this value to me, okay, then what will happen? It will execute something like this. Okay, A2 S3, and it will execute something like this. Now for this point of time, 90% people think about only this value. Okay, only this value. I'm giving you an example. This is very simple use case. Okay, 90% people think about this value. They use inside their program, if there is A, then what you have to do? A multiplied by 2. Okay, if there is S, then you have to do something like this, S multiplied by 3. But that is not a generalized solution. Now what is the problem into this solution? Okay, let's suppose the system randomly generate this value x5, okay, x5 3, or let's suppose b2, x5 b2. Now what output I will get? 5 times x, 2 times b. But if you design code something like this, then what will happen? You will never get this exact output. So you have to think in that context. User can enter something like this. Okay, user can enter something like this combination x3, okay, x3 and s2, okay, s3 s2, okay, b6, okay, and x again x2. Now what output it will generate? After decoding, after decrypting, what output it will generate? X, okay, s, b 6 time, okay, b 6 time, and x 2 time. Now this is the perfect solution. So I am giving you just simple example. Always try to think generalized solution. Okay, unless you won't think about this, you will never learn the programming. This is the one, the guru mantra to learn this programming. That is the important one. Okay, so now back to the main criteria. I am again touching that point, that is the indentation level, because you guys are facing for the indentation level. That is the important one in the context of the programming. I am taking the same example that already we discussed into the C++, and second one is the Python. Okay, if you are from the C++ background, then what exactly you do? Let's suppose you use this for loop. Okay, for I is equal to 0, I less than equals to 10, I plus plus. Now you use these curly braces, and inside curly braces that you write something like this. You write the statement something like this. Now what exactly happening over here? How my compiler understands each scenario? My compiler understands that after this 4, there is curly brace. Okay, there is curly brace. And if there is curly brace, definitely there should one more curly brace to enclose this scenario. And my compiler understands, okay, inside these curly braces, what exactly happening? This is the statement which is associated with this for loop. This is the way into the C++. Okay, if you are coming from the C++ background, you definitely do the mistake n number of times. Okay, now your teacher says, okay, please do it the tab separated, please do it the separated, then I will check your code. Okay, that tab separated concept is called indentation, and this indentation play important role inside the Python. if I want to do something like this inside the Python, there the curly braces are play something different role. The curly braces are used inside Python for set, okay, for dictionary, okay, but here the significance of curly braces is something else. Now how I can handle this type of situation inside this Python? For the same, what I have to do, I have to take care the tab indented. Then how I can understand this concept, that is the tab indented? Very simple, okay. Let's suppose this is the notepad, okay, this is the notepad. Now what you have to do, let's suppose you write the line number 1, you write the line number 2, okay. After that you put something like this, if condition, okay. Inside C++, what we exactly do? If, okay, if curly braces on, curly braces off, and there are n number of statements, okay, there are n number of statements. Now how C++ identify it? These associated with this if, due to these curly braces, okay. But inside Python, first that you have to put this colon, okay. Now what is the meaning of these columns? These columns mean this is not end of line, if I put this colon, my interpreter will understand there would be some lines who are associated with this statement, and these column, this is the thumb rule. When we use these colon inside Python, definitely you have to give one line, and that line should be tab indented. Now understand the concept. After giving the colon, that I press enter and I press tab, okay, I press tab. Now I enter 1 line, I enter 2 line, I enter 3 line, I enter 4 line, I enter 5 line, okay. Now my interpreter will understand these 5 lines are associated with this if condition, okay, this if condition. Now I have to put else with this if. For the putting the else with this if, then what I have to do? I have to put else. Now this else is associated with this if. This else is associated with this if, okay. So it should always perpendicular to it, okay, or exactly opposite to it. So after putting else, okay, again you have to put these colon, and press enter. After and press enter, again you have to put tabs, okay. Now if I write these 4 lines, my interpreter will automatically understand these 4 lines are associated with this else, and these 5 lines are associated with this if, okay. So this concept is called indentation. You take care the concept of the indentation, because without this concept it's very difficult to proceed further with the Python programming, okay. Proceed further with the inside the Python programming. So this is the indentation concept. Now if I show you the code, okay, if I show you something code, okay. Now if I show you the code, now easily understandable, concept is easily understandable. Now take this code. This is very simple code. Which retrieve the data from this URL and convert it into the text. Now it's very simple code, so it automatically understandable, okay. This is the for loop, which is associated with this statement, okay. This is associated with this statement. Here I put columns, then immediate after these columns, what is the meaning of this? Now whatever I write with the help of this tab. Now you can understand it. Every line contain minimum one tab. The meaning of that is that this complete code is associated with this, okay. So the first statement, the for year in range, okay. So after end of this, that's mean it is not end. My interpreter will say, okay, there would be some line, minimum 1 line should be there. If you put these colon, minimum 1 line should be there, otherwise you will get the error message unexpected indented, okay. So for the same, again you can observe it, there is only 1 tab, okay, there is 2 tabs. Now what the complete scenario? Okay, this for loop is part of this for loop. Okay, now this if condition, now you can check it out. There is 1 tab, 2 tab and 3 tab. That's mean this is part of this for loop. Okay, now you can imagine it. Okay, 1 tab, 2 tab, 3 tab, 4 tab. That's mean this statement is associated with this condition, and this else is associated with this if. Okay, this line basically is associated with this else. Now the picture is clean, neat and clean in front of you, and this concept is called indentation level. Now you can easily imagine it. Okay, this code is associated with this for loop. Okay, this line is associated with this for loop. Why I am saying it? Because you can easily observe it here. This is equivalent to this if and this else and this line. So automatically understandable, this line, basically this text is equal to request.get URL is related to this for loop. So this is the concept of the indentation. Okay, if I show you one more code, now you can easily observe it, which one is associated with which one is associated with which one. Okay, now show, let's see one more code. Okay, this is the same code, the code that is for your assignment. Okay, so you can imagine, you can easily understand which one is associated with which one. Okay, this grade is associated with this if. Okay, this grade again variable is associated with this one. Again this one is associated with this one. Again this one is associated with this one. This is the complete scenario. This concept is called indentation, and inside Python indentation plays the important role. And if you are working with Python, you want to establish your career inside Python, you have to take care about this indentation. Here one tab. Okay, here one tab. Okay, one tab. But if you are not comfortable with the tabs, what you can use, you can take 4 spaces. Okay, that is equivalent to the 1 tab. But I will never suggest you to take the 4 spaces. Okay, take the 4 spaces. Always do practice with the tabs. Okay, why I am saying it? Now understand into the same example. Here easily understandable that 4 tabs, 4 spaces, that is equivalent to the 1 tab. Now imagine it. I am coming over here. Okay, how many tabs I am giving over there? 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, 4 tabs. If I take spaces, okay, if I follow the indentation with spaces, then how many spaces that I have to keep remember inside the mind? 16 spaces. Rather than to keep remember 16, the 4 is alternate and easy way. That's why I always suggest you, if you want to do the indentation, the choices are you are supposed to take 4 spaces, okay, and you are supposed to take 1 tab. Then I always suggest you go with 1 tab. Okay, so this is the concept of the indentation. I think the picture is very much clear about this. Now move to our if part. Okay, so yesterday the first problem was find the greatest number between 3 numbers, and then the same problem that you have to find the greatest number between 4 numbers and 5 numbers. Okay, so I will touch this problem, find the greatest number between 3 numbers. The newcomers who just joined this session, welcome to all. Okay, once again. Now let's suppose I am writing the code. Write a program to find the greatest number between 3 numbers. Very simple and easy. Okay, a is equal to int of. Okay, the new person who just everyone who don't know about this Python, the input is a function which take the data from user. Okay, okay, now enter a. Perfect. Okay, and you have to close the parentheses over here. Now int of, वीडियो शो नहीं हो रही, कुछ भी नहीं शो हो रहा है. हाँ जी, नहीं वीडियो तो मैं दिखाई नहीं, मैं तो लिख रहे हैं, लिखता शो नहीं हो रहा है. क्या करते हो यार? हाँ जी, anyone having facing this problem? I think everything is visible which I am writing on the screen. Okay, perfect, good one. Okay, now So if anyone facing this problem, I am writing something on the screen, and I hope everyone is enjoying my handwriting. It's very bad. So anyways, just enjoy my words. Definitely you will learn today 3 to 4 programs. It's my promise to you guys. Okay, because I am not touching the very basics part. Okay, I am not touching very basic part, because if I start basic, then the session will be more boring. So it's better if you join this session. So definitely learn, you know, at least 3 to 4 programs. So kindly cooperate and enjoy my words. If you are totally from the non-technical background, that's why I am elaborating each and everything. What the role of this, what the role of that. Okay, so please, b is equal to int of input of enter b. Okay, that's perfect. Now the role of input is a function that is available inside the Python. If you are coming from the C++ background or C kind of things, then there is a function that is called scanf inside C. Okay, scanf. Okay, but inside, you know, inside C++, the function is called cin. Here the function is input, which take the data from the user, and whatever you write into these codes, that would be appear on the screen as it is. Now just understand the role of this. Okay, let's suppose you enter into any website, and there are only 2 boxes. Okay, there are only two boxes. Now how you will identify which box take the, you know, the username and which box take the password? So for the same, I have to assign over here labels: username, okay, then password. Okay, now you easily understandable. Okay, this is the, you know, this is the box which contain the data that would be similar to your username, and this is the password where you have to supply the password, and this password is stored with the help of this particular box. Same thing over here. Whatever I write inside these codes, that would be treated as a label. Okay, this line doesn't concern with your logic. Whatever you write over here, that as it is appear on the screen. So I am asking the value enter A, enter B. Let's suppose user enter 2 values. Okay, user enter 2 values, and again I am asking the C. Let's suppose 10. Okay, B is equal to 20, C is equal to 30. Now understand this scenario. My problem statement, whenever you are going to solve any problem, think the mathematics behind every problem, because every problem comes with mathematics. Keep this point into the mind. Now 50% people are thinking, sir, we don't know mathematics, now we are not supposed to do the program. Now you are degrading yourself. Okay, you are degrading yourself. Why I am saying it? Because you cleared your 10th examination, okay, you cleared your +2 examination, and you cleared your graduation. Inside your 10th, 90%, not 90, 100% people, okay, the you know, the mandatory subject is mathematics, and you clear this math, so never degrade yourself. Okay, I am not asking here for the, you know, for the integration, for the differentiation. That is something different things. But every problem, whatever problem that you are going to solve into the programming, whatever problem, even add 2 numbers, very small problem, even add 2 numbers, comes with mathematics. Keep this point into the mind. If you want to learn programming, always try to think the mathematics behind every problem. Now, if I giving the 3 values, okay, just imagine it, I giving you the 3 containers. Okay, what first container take the 10, second container take 20, third container take 30. Now your task is, you have to find out the greater number between these 3 numbers. That is your task. Now how you will observe this kind of things? Conceptually, how you will think? That is the main question. The same as you think, the same machine will understand. Okay, the same your conceptual, what exactly the conceptual thing that you think inside your mind, same thing that you have to implement inside the programming language. This is the 99% related to your conceptual and your logics. Okay, so understand this concept. Now if I give you this problem statement, you easily identify it. Your brain automatically calculated it. Sir, 30 is greater. Okay, but system doesn't know. System doesn't know because I never teach to the system. How you understand it? You understand because of you learn this kind of thing in your things into your second standard or into the third standard. Okay, so you easily understand it. And why you understand it? Because someone teach you how to find the greatest number between three numbers. Okay, you easily tell. Okay, the same thing. Now same thing. I am giving you 50 numbers. Okay, I am giving you 50 numbers, 50 different numbers, and I am saying you find the greatest number among these 50 numbers. Now what will happen? You have to think the logic. Okay, same thing inside the machines, same thing inside the programming languages, that you have to teach the machines. And how you will teach the machine? With the help of your logics, okay, same thing. If I talk about the machine learning, one of the most, the famous the topic for nowadays, machine learning, deep learning. Okay, now what exactly meaning of this? The meaning is same. Here we are teaching to the machines the same thing. Here we are teaching to the machine, and they are take the decision automatically. Okay, they are taking the decision automatically. But how they are capable to take the decision automatically? Because we teach them. Okay, now I'm closing this discussion. If I start this discussion, the concept will be changed. So now back to this problem. Now the question is, sir, how I can teach? First, think inside your mind. How you find out the greatest number between these three numbers? Very simple. You compare this number with this. Okay, and after that you compare this number with this number, and you take final decision. The decision is, okay, it is greater from this number, and I am focusing on the word and. What is the meaning of and? The meaning of and, if both conditions satisfied, okay, both conditions satisfied, that's mean A is greater. Okay, now case number 1, you compare this number with 20, you compare this number with 30. The both of the condition, if both of the condition true, that's mean your A number is greater. But here your condition is fail. Now what you will do? You will check this 20. You will check with this 20. Okay, with 20. Now 90% people do mistake over here. 90% people do mistake over here. After checking this, what people are start checking? They check 10. Okay, 10 or this one. Now what is the why I am checking over here? What is the reason? Why should I go with this? Because I already checked out, and I entered here condition and. And means if both of these condition true, then this A is greater. But if one of condition is false, that's mean the role of A is finished. A doesn't play anymore. Then why should I do this? This is the not required. None. What I will do? I will check 20 greater than 30. Okay, if this condition is true, then I will take the decision B is greater. Then I will take the condition B is greater. Okay, if this condition is false, then what left? 30. I will automatically print on the screen 30 is greater. Okay, so this is the way. Exactly same process that you have to follow inside the logics. Now I am writing the logic for the same. Just enjoy the logic. I ask the value from user. I ask this value from user. I ask this value from user. Okay. Now what I want to do? I want to find out the greater number between these three numbers for the same. What I have to do? If A greater than B and mean both of the conditions should be true. A greater than C. Then what decision I have to take? If this condition is satisfied, what decision that I have to take? Okay, if this condition is satisfied, that's mean A is greater, because A is greater than B and A is greater than C. Perfect, perfect. You will print a message, A is greater. Very good, very good. Now understand the second case. Now if my this condition is fail, then what I have to do next? Now the people do mistake over here. They generally do if B greater than A and B greater than C. It will work fine. Okay, it will work fine. But this is not a proper logic. This is not an efficient logic. You can say it. This is not an efficient logic. Why it's not an efficient logic? Now understand that point. Okay, here how many character I write? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Okay, here I write 14 characters. Okay, I write 14 characters. Now when I write 14 characters, okay, when I write 14 characters, then what happen? What happen? Okay, this takes large space. Inside the memory. Okay, when I write 14 characters, this take large space inside the memory. That's mean I have to reserve the 14 characters. Now second point. When I execute it, okay, it take large resources. Okay, that's mean it take more computation power. Why I am saying? Just take a simple scenario. If I am writing 14 character, it will take more space. And my pen, my ink will be utilized. Not utilized. My ink is used. I write 14 times. Okay, I write 14 times. That's mean my ink used more over here. Okay, so avoid this kind of things. What I can do? Okay, now understand it. Let's suppose this condition is fail. The meaning of this condition, I am comparison over here and mean both should be true. If one of condition is false, what is the meaning of that? That's mean A is vanished. A removed from the game. Now there is no more role for this A. Then what I have to do? Simply, very simple. B greater than C. Then print B is greater. Okay. Else if this condition is again fail, what is the meaning of this? B, the game of B is over. What left we have? We have left only C. Then you have to just simply print over here, C is greater. That's the way. This is the optimized solution. This concept is called optimized solution. Okay, this is the optimized solution. Same thing if I do for the 4 variables. Okay, same thing if I do the 4 variables, what you will do? A greater than B and A greater than C and A greater than D. Okay, A greater than D. Then print A is greater. If B greater than C and B greater than D and B, that's it. E, we don't have E. Okay, B greater than C and B greater than D. Then print B is greater. If C greater than D, print of C is greater. Else what we left? We left with D. Print D is greater. So this is the way. Yes, please. You can use n number of times, sir. There is no limit. It's depend upon the situation. What exactly your situation is. You can use n number of times. Yeah, I use twice. You can use n number of times. You can use 5 times. You can use 10 times. That's totally depend upon the situation. What kind of situation, what kind of problem that you are going to be solved. So it's totally depend upon the situation to situation. Yes. Even what you can do, you can use and or you can use or. You can use both, combination of both. Okay. Does anyone having any question? Please do let me know if you are having any question. Yeah. Uh-huh. Yes, 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 yes. This one, this one, this one. Yes, perfect. You can use this one as well. Why I didn't tell you? Because we are on the starting age. Okay, we are on the starting age. We first learn with these kind of things. You can do it. This is perfect way. This is more accurate, more efficient way. Okay, but this thing is achievable when you learn this. Now here you can automatically observe it. Okay, the role of A is over. What else you will do otherwise? If I directly move to this, what you will do? B greater than A. Okay, and so on and so on and so on. Then it will make more complicated for you. Uh-huh. Yeah, definitely you can use over or. Okay, understand it. Or you can impart or after this. You can impart this kind of things. Okay, just I'm giving you one more statement. Okay, now I am making this program is more the typical. Now my question is okay, if A and B both are equal, then you have to give the message to the user A and B is equal. If C is greater, then you have to print this message A and B are equal but C is greater. Okay, now second case, if A and C is equal and B is greater, you have to take care of this thing. You have to print this message A and B value is equal but the B is greater among of these two. So here you have to use or. The combination of and or. The combination of and or. If I make it more complicated, then the combination is become and or. Now getting my point? Where is sir? Sir, getting my point or not? Because sir. Perfectly. Okay. Now move to the next one. Now I think the picture is clear. Anyone else who joined today? Anyone having any doubt? Please do let me know. Okay, that's great. Okay, perfect. If anyone having any doubt, please let me know before proceed further. Okay, perfect, good. So move to the next part. Very simple. Now I am directly showing you the code. Okay, the new one who joins today, I give you one simple assignment, very simple assignment to play with the if and else. So okay, before proceed further, now I am showing you one more thing, one more optimized way, how I can do the same thing more optimized. Okay, here if I do something like this, okay, here if I do something like this, how many lines I used one line. Okay, I used 2 line, I used 3 line, and then printing 1 2 3, total 6 lines I used, total 6 lines. Now what I can do else? Okay, the same thing can be achieved with a single line. Now you guys will show. Okay, sir, is it possible? Yes, it is possible. The same thing can be achieved with a single line, and that operator is called, I didn't touch this point into the operator section for this point of time. I am waiting for this point basically. Okay, the same thing can be achieved. With ternary operator. Yes, you can achieve the same thing with ternary operator with the single line of code. Only single line will do will play all the role of all 6 lines. Then how we can use the ternary operator? Now understand this concept. Let's suppose I am writing a very simple program. Find the greatest number between 2 numbers. Very simple program. Okay, with the help of this ternary operator. Now my focus is on this ternary operator. Now A is equal to 10, B is equal to 20. Very simple. Okay, I am taking 2 values. Now I want to find out the maximum value with these 2 values. The common scenario which I use, if A greater than B, okay, then print A, else you have to print B. Okay, this is the common scenario. Now if I use the ternary operator, the same thing can be done with a single line of code. Now enjoy the code. X is equal to A. If A is greater than B, else B. That's it. Now print of X. Now what output I will get? Now understand this code. I did same thing into a single line. When I am solving this kind of statements, this is called ternary operator. Okay. For this, what I did, now observe carefully. Okay, I am saying if A is greater than B. Okay, if this condition is true, then it will return this A. It will return this A, and this A is assigned to X. This A is assigned to X. That's mean if case number 1, if A is 20, B is 10. Now what will happen? This condition is true. And now A will be assigned to this X variable. Okay, now case number 2, this one, this condition is false. Now what will happen? Your else part will be executed. Now this B value is assigned to this X, and I am simply print this X, and this is the more efficient way with the help of this ternary operator. And these type of scenario, these type of conditions are called ternary operator. Now one more case where I am taking, yeah, sure. Okay. Now if I print this X, then the output would be in the case number 2. Okay, in the case number 2, which value is greater? 20 is greater. When I print this X, what output I will get? I will get 20. Okay, I will get 20. Now this is the way. In the case number 1, what output I will get? Again, I will get this 20. That's mean I am giving two values and I am getting the result. Which one is greater? Okay, which one is greater? So X contain the large value in this case, and I am printing that value over here. This concept is called ternary operator. Okay, I am taking one more example. Have patience. I am taking one more example. Now one more example. Very simple. Find the greatest number between 3 numbers. Okay, I am taking the value of A, whatever value. Okay, I am taking the value of B, whatever value. I am taking the value of C, whatever value. Okay, now for this case, I am getting the maximum value among these values with the help of ternary operator. Very simple. A, if A greater than B. Okay, if this condition is true, and because I am comparison of the 3 numbers, and A greater than C. If both of these conditions are true, then what value will be returned? That would be return A. Okay, by chance, just imagine it, this condition is true and this condition is not true. That means this will not happen. Because why not happen? I entered this AND. Okay, now if this condition fail, then I have to move to the else part. Now what I have to do into the else part? Else if B greater than C. Okay, if this condition is true, then what will be returned? The B value will be returned, and this value is assigned to the maximum variable. Okay, one more time. Here else C. Okay, else C. Now what will happen? Now understand the code. If this AND condition is true, then what value it will return? It will return A, and this A is assigned to this maximum variable. Okay, case number 2. If this condition is failed, then what will happen? This part will execute. This else condition is execute, and inside else that I insert if. Okay, now it will check B greater than C. Okay, if this condition is true, then it will return B, and this B will assign to the maximum variable, that is the max variable. Okay, if this condition is failed, then else part will execute, and else part the C will assign to your max variable. If I print this max, okay, now what output I will get? Let's suppose here 10, here 20, here 30. Now I will get the output 30. Okay, so this is the way, with the help of ternary operator, that you can do the same thing with single line of code. So this concept is called ternary operator. Okay, I am taking one more example to clear this scenario. This time I am taking your doubt, Muhammad. I know what exactly that you have doubt. You need this. A is greater. Okay, you need this, A is greater. Okay, for this type of situation, now observe the code, understand the code. Okay, now I am taking one more example, you guys will enjoy. I am taking two value A, I am taking value for B. For same, what I am doing, very simple, print. Now understand it. Both are equal. Okay, when it will say both are equal, if A double equals to B. If this condition is true, then it will return both are equal. Okay, else. Okay, else in the continuation of this. Okay, I am writing over here. Else, if condition is fails, then else A is greater. Okay, A is greater. When A will greater? If A greater than B. Okay, if this condition is true, then it will return A is greater. Now else part again. Okay, else what left? The second, or you can say B is greater. So this is the another way. The same thing you can do with the single line of code. Exactly same thing. What assignment that I give you guys, that you have to find both are equal or which one is greater. So you can handle the same thing with single line. Okay, if you want to do same thing with the help of this separately with if and else, then you have to write the 4 to 5 lines for this code. But here I did the same thing into single line. Now understand this code. I am taking two value 10 and let's suppose first case 10 and 10. Now this condition is true. Then what it will return? It will return both are equal. Okay, else if this condition is fail, case number 2, I am taking 20 and 10. This is the case number 2. Now this condition is fail. 20 is equal to 10. No, this condition is fail. Then it will move to the else part. Inside else, I again put the if. Now I am checking if A is greater than B. That's mean 20 is greater than 10. Condition true. Then what it will return? It will return A is greater. Now it will print on the screen A is greater. Okay, this is the case number 2. Case number 3. I am taking 10. I am taking 20. Now this time, okay, 10 equals to 20. No. Okay, 10 greater than 20. No. Else. What left? We left this. B is greater. Now the output would be B is greater. Okay, so Mohammed, clear? Because I know you have doubt over here that you want to print on the screen A is greater, B is greater, or C is greater. Am I right? Okay, great. That's great. So this concept is called ternary operator. Okay, and sometime you can use this, or sometime you can use if and else. Whatever you want to use, you can use it. So now proceed further. A very simple program. Write a program to check string is palindrome or not. Okay, now I already told you my name is palindrome, N-I-T-I-N. Okay, N-I-T-I-N. So how I can check this string is palindrome or not? If the string start from this side, the same. If string start from this side is same, that's mean the string is palindrome. So my name is palindrome. If I start from this side, N-I-T-I-N, it's same. N-I-T-I-N, it's same. So how I can check this kind of things? The both strings are palindrome or not? For the same, what you have to do? If x double equals to reverse of a string. Okay, reverse of a string. So the people who just watching Python first time, so it's very simple here inside Python how you can do the reverse of a string. X colon minus 1. Okay, x colon minus 1. Simply if this condition is true, then you have to display on the screen palindrome. Else print not palindrome. Very simple. Okay, very simple. This is the scenario to check it. Okay, if you guys have doubt over here, so I am just briefing within one or less than 1 minute, because I already discussed in great detail this concept. Now if I brief it, what exactly meaning of this? Its mean is that I am reversing a given string. Whatever string I give, let's suppose I give this hello. Okay, x contain hello, and what I am doing? I am reversing it, colon minus 1. Now what exactly mean of this? This string become OLLEH. Okay, OLLEH. And I am reversing this string, and I am comparing with this string. Okay, I am comparing with this string. This is the operator for the comparison operator. If the both are same, then you have to print palindrome, else you have to print non-palindrome. So this is the way, very simple way to check the given number is palindrome or not. Very simple. Okay. So I don't think so that we have to perform this practically, because this is very simple. You guys might have done into your graduation, or might be you have done into your school days. So now proceeding further, the example that last time I gave, I'm deleting it, to find the grading system. Okay, grade. So fortunately I got the code for the same. This is very simple. Here I am asking the value from user, enter name. Okay, and again I am getting the value, enter roll number, marks 1, marks 2, marks 3, and I am sum all these marks, and by default I am taking the score for this is, the maximum score for this is 100, this is 100, this is 100, and I calculated the percentage. Very simple. Till now I think if anyone having doubt, please do let me know till now, till this code. If you are having any doubt, please do let me know before proceed further. Anyone having doubt for this? Anyone having doubt for this? Sorry, I didn't get. For where you are? Yeah, you are audible. Where I am using double braces? Okay. Yes. Okay, this you are talking about which brace or equal to sign? We are talking about, yes, this one. Okay, this one. Yeah, this one. Okay, perfect. Now understand the concept. This is the concept of the typecasting. What I am doing. Okay, I am taking value from user. Let's suppose I take the value from user. Enter marks for M1. Okay, I just take this value. Now what I am doing, the user enter marks. Let's suppose user enter 70 marks. Okay, user enter 70 marks. Now what is the meaning of this? By default, this input take the value into the string format. Okay, it's get the value into the string format. Okay, now when I perform this plus operator on string values, now what will happen? I will get output 7080, and this concept is called concatenation. Okay, if you are from the technical background, you might have heard about the, but next please listen. You might have heard about the concept of the polymorphism. If you are from the programming background, if you deal with the concept of the classes, this is the concept, this is the implementation of the concept of the polymorphism. Now what is the meaning of this polymorphism? I am elaborating this particular the concept, that is the polymorphism. The meaning of the polymorphism is ability to take then one or the more form. Now how it is practically implemented over here? Just imagine it. When I do this, then what output I will get? I will get output that is the 30. That implement the plus operator. That's mean now this time it performing the mathematical addition. But the operator is same. Now what I am doing? I am giving the operand that belong to the string class. Now this is performing the 1020. Here the operator is same in the both of the cases, but the operands are different. This is the concept. Technically this concept is called polymorphism, and this is the implementation of polymorphism. So my target is that I have to convert, because this input function take the data in the string format. Now my task is convert this data into the integer format. For converting it into the integer format, that I do the typecasting. Okay, I do this typecasting. Now this 70 that belongs to the string class, now it is converted with the help of this int function. With the help of this int function, it converted into the integer family. Now I think the picture is clear. Okay, by mistake there are, this is the unnecessary brackets. Now the picture is clear. Okay, now the picture is clear. No, basically the use of this is the concept of the typecasting. Basically, if I elaborate this concept is typecasting. The meaning of the typecasting is I am converting one data type to another data type. So for do this process, I have to tell I want to convert this integer. I want to convert this string into the integer. Okay, into the integer. For converting this string into the integer, what function I am taking? I am taking this int. Okay, so this is converted now into the integer class. Earlier it is into the string class, but now it is converting into the integer family. So this is the concept of the typecasting. So I did over here because I have to perform mathematical sum operation. If I do something like this, let's suppose the user press 70, again 70, again 70. Okay, but what will happen if I don't use this int? What will happen? 70 plus 70 plus 70. Now what will happen? This is the operation of the concatenation. You will get 70, 70, 70. Okay, so now you will get this, but my requirement is something else. My requirement is 210. Okay, so that's why I have to convert this data into the integer format for performing the mathematical addition. Now I think the picture is clear. Okay, thank you. Okay, now the next concept is to calculate the percentage. Okay, this is the mathematical way to calculate the percentage. I think the picture is clear. Now in the next in the next line, what I am doing, I am taking one variable name. I am taking grade. Okay, I am taking grade. Now I am stopping this point over here. Now first understand my problem statement. What my problem statement is? My problem statement is very simple. Okay, I have to take 3 subjects marks. Then I have to do calculation. I have to calculate the percentage marks. Okay, I calculated the percentage marks. After getting the percentage of marks, I have to grade them. That is my task. Okay, for grading, there is some different criteria. My criteria is if person's percentage, okay, if person's percentage greater than 90, then you have to give A plus. Okay, if percentage greater than 80 and less than equals to 90, then you have to put in A grade. Okay, if percentage greater than 70 and less than equals to 80, then you have to grade that person into the B category. If greater than 60 and less than 70, then you have to grade that person into the C category. If marks are less than 60, then what you have to do? You have to print the message on the screen, the person is fail. So this is my grading system according to my university. First I have to calculate the percentage. After calculation of the percentage, that we have to satisfy these criteria. That on the screen, what output I need? Hello, the name of the person. Let's suppose the name of person is Ajay. Hello Ajay. Okay, your roll number is this one. Okay, this one, whatever roll number, let's suppose 102, and your total marks or your percentage, you can say your percentage is, let's suppose 92%. Okay, 92.35%. According to this percentage, your grade is A plus grade. That is my requirement, that I want at the final result. For this kind of task, what I have to do? I have to, now if I do such types of problems, then first you have to think the mathematical behind it. So mathematical behind it, you have to calculate the percentage, and after percentage you have to satisfy the boundary. you have to satisfy the boundary for that percentage. If percentage fall into this criteria, you have to this A plus. Okay, simple English, simple English. If percentage is greater than 90%, then the person scored A plus grade. Else if the percentage is greater than 80 and less than equals to 90, then the person is fall into the A grade. Else if percentage greater than 70 and less than equals to 80, then person is fall into the B grade. Very simple English, very simple English. The same English we will use over here. The same English we will use over here. Now understand. I think the picture is clear. The problem statement is fail. He is fail. Yeah, he is fail because I satisfied the condition over here. Percentage greater than 60. Fail. He is fail. Yeah, fail because I justify our condition over here. Percentage greater than 60. If I write this percentage greater than or 60 or equals to 60, then add yes. Now if the percentage is 60, that's mean he would be get the C grade. Okay, but my criteria is something else. Okay. Now I think the picture is clear, everyone. So for proceed further. So for this point of time, now what you will do? Okay, Vishal sir, I think you did this mistake. You use over here print Ravi, roll number is roll number and A plus grade. I think you use this. Okay, here again Ajay sir, you did the same mistake, I suppose. Print Ravi, okay, Ravi, and then roll number, then A grade. Okay, here the same thing, print Ravi, okay, and so on. Here again print variable name and so on. I think you guys did this mistake, Ajay sir and Vishal sir. Yeah, I know you guys, because when you sent this code to me, you do this mistake. This is perfectly fine, no problem at all. It will work fine because yes. Okay. I am coming to that point. But your mistake is this one. No, it's we cannot consider it like a mistake. But the alternative is this one. What exactly I can do? Now observe this scenario. Here how many times I use print statement? 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. You are printing this thing 4 times. Now what else I can do? Now observe this scenario. Here, if I observe carefully, the roll number, the name of the person is whatever name you enter over here, that is never changed throughout the scenario. Okay, the roll number, whatever roll number is you entered over here, that would never change throughout the scenario. The marks you enter over here, that is mathematical addition. After performing the percentage formula, that you are getting the percentage. Now this grade of a person is depend upon the percentage. So what exactly changing to the complete scenario? If I think carefully, if I observe carefully, the only grades are changed. Rest of things are same for everyone. Let's suppose first time I run this problem for Ravi, and Ravi scored 92% marks. Second time I run this problem for Suresh. Okay, the Suresh scored 95% marks. Now what exactly changing? The changing is grading. For changing is grading. So what should I have to do? Now observe this scenario. Okay, I am commenting these two statements because I have to teach these two statements you guys as well. Okay, print. I am removing it. Okay, this hash is used for commenting. Okay, this hash is used for commenting. Now what will happen? This won't execute throughout the scenario. Now existence of this particular two statement is no more. The meaning of hash is the existence of these two lines is no more inside this program. Okay, so keep this point into the mind. This is the process of commenting. So now understand it. Now what I am doing, I am printing hello. Okay, hello name. Okay, name. Now again comma, name, your role is. Okay, I am using this column. The role is for R. Okay, and the next one is your percentage is. Okay, and I am printing this PER. Okay, I am printing this PER, and according to your percentage, grade is this one. Okay, this grade variable. Okay, now if I run this, I am saving it, save as. Okay, to your folder Python progs. Okay, and I am saving over here. Your folder is, I think, into the F drive. Perfect, this is your folder. Okay, yes, this PC inside I think F, Python for basics, then my work. Okay, my work, and then inside my work, I suppose, huh? UK and UK. Yes, this one. Okay, grade.py. Okay, I am saving it. Now for running it, cmd. Okay, cmd. Now for the running this thing, py.grade.py. Okay, so let me check, someone is joining. Okay, for the same, let me execute it. Okay, the name is Ravi. Okay, the roll number is, let's suppose 1 2 3 whatever. Okay, the marks is, let's suppose 70, again 70, again 70. Now observe the output. Hello Ravi, your roll number is this one. Okay, your percentage is 70.0 and grade is C. Okay, it's giving me the C grade. So now observe this code. Okay, so what exactly happening over here? Okay, the mistake that you made over here, what you are doing here something like this. Control C. Okay, Control C. I am printing over here. Control V. Okay, you did something like this. So how many times you write this line? You write for 1 time, again 2 time, again 3 time, again 4 time. What exactly changing? If I observe carefully the scenario, okay, the scenario is only grade is changing. Okay, and your percentage, that's depend upon your percentage. So why should I write again and again this print statement? Then what alternate I can do? That is more important. Okay, what alternate I can do for making your coding smooth? What alternate I can use? What I am doing, I am making this thing comment. That's mean it's no more existence. I am taking one variable grade. Now understand this case. What I did, I took a variable and the variable name is grade. Empty string. This is just like a empty string. Grade. Okay, empty container. Just like this empty container. That's it. Nothing else. If you understand this concept into the layman term, just like this, a empty container. Okay. If this condition true, if this condition true, then this container will fill by A plus grade. If this condition is not true, okay, let's suppose this condition is true, then what will happen? This container is filled by A grade. Okay, let's suppose this condition is again not true, then this container is filled by B grade. Okay, if this condition is not true, then this container is filled by C grade. Okay, if this condition is not true, then this container is filled by fail. Okay, this container is filled by fail. Now what I have to do? At the end of the day, at the end of the scenario, what I have to do? I am taking this variable. Okay, and I am taking this variable. I am taking name, I am taking roll number, and I am presenting them. Hello name, the name, whatever name you assign. Your roll number is whatever roll number you assign over here inside the R variable. Your percentage is whatever percentage you assign over here. Whatever calculation come inside this, let's suppose the 70. Okay, your percentage is 70, and grade is grade. Now what grade contains? This container contains, let's suppose A grade. then what output on the screen? The grade is A. Okay, so only variable. Why should again displaying this print statement into every if condition? Because let's suppose, okay, just understand this scenario, understand one more case why I use this. What I want to do, I want to use this grade, I want to use this grade, and there is one more program. Now understand this concept very, now you will automatically clear this picture. There is one program, okay, and there is one more program. Now what is happening inside this program? You are finding the grade of a person. Okay, you are finding the grade of a person. Okay, in this program you are printing the DMC of a person. Okay, you are printing the certification of a person. Now what will happen? Because printing is done over here, this program is responsible for printing, and this program is responsible for calculate the grading. Now I want to send this grade to this file. I want to send this grade to this file. For this kind of situation, you have to implement some logic, something like this. If you done this thing over here, now what will happen? This file is doing the task of printing. This file is doing the task of printing, and this file is doing the task of the grading. So what my basic requirement is that I have to pass this grade to the next file where printing department will take care this grade. Now I think the picture is clear. The same scenario for your no dues. What you do? First you do the no dues from your department. Then you go to the canteen where you have to do the no dues. Then you have to go to the account section. Then you have to go to the admin section to take your balance. So this is the process. Let's suppose your values go to this phase. After processing here, your department said, okay, everything is clear. Then it moved to the next phase. Next phase says, okay, everything is clear. Then the value is moved to the next phase. Okay, everything is clear. Then move to the next phase. Now your final output is came down. So this is the process. So that's why sometime we have to think in such way rather than to writing printing again and again here. What I can do, I can handle this situation with one variable. Now I can pass this variable. If my requirement go to the printing department, okay, no problem at all. Now I can easily send this grade to the printing department where the printing kind of things can be taken care by that particular department. So I think now the picture is clear. Why I am saying you are doing wrong over here. Hanji, anyone having doubt for this, please do let me know before proceed further. Anyone please? Anyone please? Ajay sir? Mohammed sir? Okay, perfect. I am taking huge time to clearing the each and every concept because these are the basic things. If you in starting age you take care all about these things, automatically your coding skills will be, at the end of this course your coding skills will be on the top level. It's my guarantee to you. So that's why I am taking huge time to clarify the each concept. So the next come back to this point. Okay, so understand this thing. Now I am teaching one new thing over here. Okay, now that feature is available inside only Python 3. That I am teaching you the new feature that is available inside Python 3, not into the Python 2. Okay, this feature is not applicable inside the Python 2. So I am teaching you the Python 3 feature. Okay, so here observe carefully. Okay, observe carefully. Here how many commas you manage? 1 comma. Okay, 2 comma. Okay, 3 comma, 4 comma, okay, 5 comma, 6 comma, okay, 7 commas. And how many double quotes? 1, 2, okay, then 3, 4, okay, then 5, 6, then 7, 8. So 7 commas, 8 double commas that you manage in one single line. That's mean how many? 15 commas and double quotes that you have managed into a single line. Just imagine the scenario. This line is very huge. This line is very huge, very huge, very huge. Let's suppose it takes around hundreds of commas, okay, hundreds of commas and hundreds of semicolons, okay, hundred of the single quotes, sorry, single commas and double commas. So this type of scenario, when you perform this type of things, you may get irritated. Definitely you will do the mistake over here. In the first attempt, I can bet you, if you are fresher and you are doing this thing into the first attempt, you will definitely get mistake. You misplace somewhere these double quotes, or you can misplace somewhere to the single quotes. So how I can handle this type of scenarios? Very easy, and that feature is available into the Python 3, not into Python 2. Now I am writing the name of that feature. The one method is format, okay. The format is a method that is associated with string, okay. And the second way that is the f string, okay. These two things are available only in Python 3, not into Python 2. Keep this point into the mind, okay. Now understand it how I can handle this format and f string, okay. First I will discuss this format. This is called formatted string, okay. Now observe this scenario. I am writing same line, okay. Okay, control C, control V. I am writing same line, but this time the output is exactly same. Whatever we print into our last, the output, the same output you will get, okay. But this time the output will generate with the help of the formatted string. So how I can manage this? Understand this. Where you need these variable values, what you have to do? You have to take the help of these curly braces, okay. Now understand it. Here hello, and then you have to print the name, and this name is into this variable, okay. Again your roll number is, again you have to print the variable over here, and the variable is inside R, okay. And your percentage is here, again you have to print the percentage, okay. Then I am again entering curly braces over here. Here you have to print the grade, okay. So you have to print over here this grade. Now understand this point. At this point I need variable. At this point I need the value of the variable. At this point I need the value of the variable. At this point I need the value of the variable, okay. Now I will print same output with the help of the format string, okay, Now understand it how I can use it. What I have to do here, after closing these quotes, okay, after closing these double quotes, what I have to do? I have to write a method name. That method name is called format, okay. The method name is format. Now what variable that you need? You need name variable, you need R variable, okay. You need PER variable, you need grade variable. So in this string, in this line, basically you need these variables. By default, we know indexing. By default, the indexing is 0. This is placed on the 0th index. This is placed on the 1 index. This is placed on the 2 index. This is placed on the 3 index. For the same, where I need the name value, I need the name value over here. And this name value is present on which index? It is present on 0th index, okay. Now R is present on the 1 index. Where you need it? You need over here, okay. The variable index of 1, here 2, okay, here 3, okay. Now understand this case, okay. Now the name contain, let's suppose the name contain Ravi. The position of this name on 0 index, the position of this R on 1 index, the position of this PER on 2 index, the position of this grade is on 3 index, okay. So where I need 0 index? I need 0 index over here, I put over here. I need 1 index, over here, I put 1 index. I need 2 index over here, I put 2 index over here. I need 3 index over here, okay. With the help of this format, this is the method that is associated into the string class inside Python, okay. Now if I run this, I am saving it. I am saving it. Now I am running this. For running this, you know very well. Okay, for running this, now I am taking Ravi. I am taking Ravi. The roll number is 1, 2, 3, 4, and the marks is, let's suppose, 70, 89, 99. Okay, now understand it. Understand it. Where is this output? Why not come on the screen? We are using, okay, I didn't save it. Okay, so prior to run it, you have to save this. Okay, for saving the control S. Now run this again. Ravi. Okay, Ravi. Now the roll number is 425. Marks is, let's suppose, 70, 70, 70. Okay. Now understand this. Exactly same. Everything is same. This is the line number 1. Kindly please mute yourself. Someone is someone is unmuted. Please kindly mute. Okay, thank you. So for the same, now you can observe it. The output is same. For the first line, for the second line, the output is exactly same that what we are getting. Okay, so this is the second way, with the help of this format. Now the way number 3, printing statement. The way number 3, I am simply copying it and pasting it. Now this time I am using F string. That concept is called formatting string, F string. Okay, for the F string, what you have to do, observe, you have to put over here F, simple small f. Okay, for this time I am removing this. Now the name of variable, where you need variable name, here. Okay, where you need variable name, here. Okay, where you need variable name, here, that is the PER. Okay, where you need variable name, here, that is the grade. Okay, now I am saving this and running this. Very simple way. Now this time you will get 3 different same output with 3 different ways. Ravi, roll number 1, 2, 3, marks 70, 70, 70, and you will get this. Now you can check it out. The output is same in both of the cases. Hello, roll number is 1, 2, 3, percentage is 70, 70, grading is C, C, C. Okay, the name is Ravi. Now choice is again here. This is done with simple, with commas and double quotes. This is done with the help of the formatting string. This concept is called formatting string. And the third one is with the help of format string. Okay, F string. Basically this is called F string. That is the formatting string. If you have any doubt, please do let me know till now. Hanji, please. Anyone having any doubt? Hanji, anyone having any doubt? Anyone having any doubt? Please. Okay. Yes, please. Okay, this one. Yes, this is the one way. Here you are saying this one. No, you are not. This screen is not visible. This what I am highlighting. You are not getting it. Okay. So. You have to pin the presentation. Space. This is the way. Sir. This is the way. Yes. The choice is again your one. This is the first way, the simple way. This is the second way, and this one is the third way. Again, the choice is your. In which way you are comfortable, you can proceed with this. If you are comfortable with this way, go with this. If you are comfortable with this, go with this. If you are comfortable with this, go with this. Choice is again your. But these two features are available only inside the Python 3. not into the Python 2. But by the way, Python 2 is outdated, and this feature is applicable into the Python 3. So choice is again your, whatever feature that you like, you can proceed with that. Okay. Yes, you can change the index over there. Okay, you want to change it. Okay, control this. Okay, put it into the end. Put it into the end. No problem at all. Now here you will get the roll number R value. Okay, here you will get the R, because on the index of 0 now it's R. So it will print over here hello 1 2 3 4. Your roll number is percentage. Your percentage is grade, and your grade is your name. So you have to take care. Yeah, no, you can take something like this. You can print over here 3. Okay, because the index of 3 you required over here. Okay, you can print over here 0, because the index of 0 you required over here. I think no, you can do it, you can do that slicing, but what is the advantage of that? So no need for the minus kind of things. Simply go with the the positive way. Yeah. So, and the second and the third one is, okay, simply you have to put this F prior to this string, and where you need roll number, where you need variable, you have to simply just put the variable name. Here you need R variable, here you need PER variable, here you need grade variable. So choice is again your, whatever way you like, you can proceed with that way. Yes, this is the way. This you have to take care. This you have, because this is the method. This is the method of string class. With the help of dot, that means it is the method of the string class. Yes. So should we proceed further, or should we stop over here? What do you say? What majority of people say? So anyone having any question, please let me know. So this is not appropriate way. Then this is not. We have to take some other scenario. You have to design some another logic. You can take the advantage of for loop. Yes, you can take the for loop. Let's suppose just consider one use case. You did shopping from my website. Okay, you did shopping from my website, and you buy at the same time 20 products. Now my question is I want to check it out, which one is the costly product. That is my, you have to define some kind of logic. You have to write a logic to find the maximum number among all these numbers. So you have to take advantage of some kind of logics. Inside for loop you have to again take the advantage of the if condition. Okay, because without if there is no possibility. We are saying we are comparing something. Yeah. Anyone else? So the new buddy is Bhupinder sir. Okay, the first one is the Bhupinder sir. So Bhupinder sir, do you have any question regarding this session? Do you understand something, or just waste? Bhupinder sir. Bhupindra sir. No, I think that. Okay, mic is okay. For Yogesh, okay. So Bhupinder sir, how do you like this session? I take. I took huge time. I took huge time because in the starting age, this is the point where the foundation is highly required. Because if your foundation is strong on the starting age, then you automatically increase in in forward direction. Otherwise, if your base is not strong, your foundation is not strong, then there is no benefit to make the buildings over there. So okay, and let's talk the old one. There are 13 people. I think the other one left out. Okay, anyways, Yogesh sir, how do you like this session? Yeah, yes, it's easier than C++, but keep this point into the mind when you are entering into this field. Okay, when you are entering into this field, any programming field, I am not specifically talking about this Python or this C++, any of the programming language. Okay, so the main important is logic. You can learn the Python within 10 days. There is no issue, no problem. You can learn it with 10 days. But the question is, the implementation is highly required. How you can learn the implementation, how you can build the logics for the same, that is totally dependent upon the practice. So that's why I always transparent with my students. I don't care about the business is second point, that is I don't care about the business. Okay, my main motto is nobody can teach you Python until unless you are not supposed to teach it. Okay, no one can teach you any programming language. If you start learning from the Google developers, they are not supposed to teach you until unless you are not supposed to start yourself, or you are not start practicing for all these things. So practice is highly required in the context of C++ or any programming language. That is my experience. 10 to 12 years of experience I have, and my experience is practice is highly required for the same. Yes, the representation is different. The main our role is in this course. Our role is to build the logic, because we lack inside the logic. So we are supposed to create our logic strong. That is the main. My motto is this one basically. If I teach you Python, okay, so you automatically learn n number of things from me. Yeah, this is the way. Anyone else having any question? Mohammed sir, do you have any question? Please let me know. Okay, thank you. Anyone else? Ajay sir, Vikas sir, Sarveer sir. Okay, thank you. And Vikas sir, waiting for assignment. I am not giving you any assignment. Okay, just take one simple assignment. Take very simple assignment. First, you have to write all these programs. Okay, whatever we discuss. And the second thing is write a program to find the greatest number between 4 numbers with the help of ternary operators. Okay, so this is your assignment, and you are supposed to solve this with the help of the ternary operator. Okay, so should we close this session, and tomorrow we will meet at the same time, that is the 9 p.m. Indian time, and your I suppose 4:30 p.m. So okay, so have a nice day. Thank you for joining me. Thanks for your patience and time, and thank you very much. Okay, thank you very much. Now I am closing this session.